when we talk about identity, we want to talk about this carefully, because identity can be many things. Identity is what identifies you. And identity can be a name, it could be who your parents and who your ancestors are. And in terms of what you are referring to, language and identity, your language identifies you. And so if we speak English, that's part of our identity. If we speak Lashutsi, that's part of our identity. And what we mean by identity is in each and every language, and all languages are important, there is a mindset, an idea, a worldview that goes with that language. And when we talk, the reason why a language can identify us, or help identify us as a people, as a whole, is that when we speak that language, we can access the philosophies of the people that used to speak that language. So we can access the ancestors that used to, we can access the philosophies that the ancestors had who spoke Lashutsi. And see, then we will, then what we'll do is we will conduct ourselves, we will proceed in the world, view the world the way that they did. And that can be a form of identity. But again, we want to be very, very careful with that word.
It's identity that is there. I can't just, go up to, you can't just go up to somebody and expect them to know what you're saying. It comes from that specific spot, from that specific place and area. And it's that, their identity within the words, within the language, within the sounds that come out. Yes, they're similar, but it's their own. So I like that, I guess.
It's been stated by others, and I feel this way too, but that language connects us to the ancestors. It also connects us to the land that we inhabit, that we live on today, and that our ancestors lived on thousands of years ago. So I feel that it's the link through time, because we all know that cultures change throughout time, and even our languages have changed and evolved or become less. But I feel it's our link that connects us all together is our traditional languages.
I said for another individual, I hear that they say the great white man, which is from Washington, D.C., may someday come and say, what makes you a people? Do you have your knowledge, your history, your language, everything intact that makes you a people? And if you don't, they could take that away. So it's very important. I think it's very important to learn your native language as a second speaker, because all of our first speakers have either left us already or is about to leave us. It is very important because their knowledge, if you don't, obtain, and you don't have that desire to obtain, they will not leave it with us. They will take it along to the other side. So I think it's important because we're at that cusp where our first speakers, will no longer be here. So I think it's important to have them transition that knowledge to us, hand it to us, so that we can continue identifying as a people. It's important.
Learning traditional languages, it's so important. I didn't know or realize that until after I start working with the children. And when we were asked by somebody, like on, I don't know, the second day in linguistics, how many of you, grew up with your native languages? Nobody raised their hand. That made me sad.
It's important to start out with nesting, because of how young and how open their minds are. They're fresh from the Creator, so they're more susceptible, and probably their spirit remembers, the language that actually, is our people. So I think that's important, but you can't expect the children to carry that heavy weight of revitalizing a language, because they'll learn it in school and leave it there.
I think it needs to be with the younger ones, but yet the middle age, should be learning from the elders. The elders should be passing it, down, but it needs to be, I think, from the middle age to go out and actually obtain the knowledge, so it doesn't just come from the elders, so it just doesn't go into, the little ones, so it's everybody working together. It's the most supported that I've felt with them learning a language in a long time.
All of these things are important to understand. So that's why we want to be very careful with this concept of identity. It's a very important thing to understand, to be able to identify ourselves. But we don't want to be arrogant. Don't want to be arrogant. It's just, this is who I am, and it doesn't mean I'm special. This is who we are, and it doesn't mean we are special. It means we are unique. So if you're Hekwaktsud, you're full of yourself, see, you are going to feel special. And when we feel special, we often expect to be treated as special. And if most people in the world don't care, then we're going to be very, very disappointed and be very angry. And anger gets in the way of happiness.
Oui. Maar 50 gallen.
Glottal stop.
That what is what had
Oui. Oui. Trois. Asleep.